What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of SerieAddicts. This is Matchday 6 of Serie A. We're gonna give a recap of all the games that went on during the weekend and on Friday. We're heading to an international break week, so
Boo.
wanted to see where things left off with some of the big teams. There was some big matchups this past weekend. We'll talk about Milan Juventus. We'll talk about Inter. We'll talk about Napoli's comeback win. We can also touch on the upcoming international World Cup qualifying matchups, especially around Italy and our hopes of qualifying and not missing out on the third consecutive World Cup, which is shameful.
In the country
Other
where
than
we
that,
live in, no less.
yep, it's disgraceful. What else do you want to talk about, Tito? I don't know if there's anything else we want to talk about with the international break coming up.
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
And we started on Friday. First matchup, Verona and Sassuolo. 1-0 victory for Sassuolo. Finally getting their ish together. Right, they started this season a little bit sloppy, but at least have gotten some results and some points from these last couple of games. It was a Pinamonti goal from a terrible penalty shot that he took. Put it right down the middle. Goalkeeper didn't bite, but he didn't do a good job of keeping a hold of the ball. Pinamonti grabs the rebound and taps it in for the 1-0 victory. Any thoughts on Sassuolo, Verona, or the game overall, people?
Yeah, of course. It was interesting that Verona actually had most of the ball, almost 59% possession. They had 9 shots on goal, versus only 3 for Sassuolo. So this was a game that even if even though Sassuolo won, they weren't really dominant. They weren't the dominating team. Verona had 19 crosses in. They had a lot of
Yep.
chances to put the game away. They had 4 corners versus 2 for Sassuolo. So if you look at the numbers, this is a game where probably Verona should have gotten the win. The W, Sassuolo somehow eked it out. So I mean, all credit to them. With Pingamonte in the 71st minute, but even like you said, even like the penalty didn't wasn't going their way. They just basically, you know, had that luck that sometimes you need in these types of games because you can do everything right, and then this can happen and you lose a game. Being Verona, I know they're gonna be feeling like they should have taken something out of this game and they did. So
At the very least, a tie and a point. Right, defensive mistakes caused them to give away a penalty, which Pinamonti converts the second go around. But yeah, I would agree with you. Verona have to feel a little bit down on themselves. Probably should have not only gotten a tie at the very least, but maybe should have won that game based
yeah,
on the fact that they created a way more opportunities to score
yeah.
than Sassuolo.
You mentioned defensive mistakes and giving away a penalty. I think that's the perfect segue to our next match, Lazio Torino, actually, where a defensive mistake gave away a penalty, much to the grief of Torino's very, very at risk manager, Marco Baroni. Uh, that was an intense match, right? A lot of score.
Yeah,
Like Torino went up first, then Cancelleri canceled the advantage, then Cancellieri
he
came
doubles
on again.
up.
He
Two
doubles
two
up.
great goals from Cancellieri.
Yeah,
Both kind of one from 1-1 plays. So two great goals from Cancellieri. Simple tapping from Simeone. But yeah, right. Shea Adams had the equalizer from a great play.
yeah.
But then to your point, right, Cataldi scores from a pen in the 96 minutes
No,
after
the other way
Torino
around.
had scored in the 92nd
Yeah,
minute.
exactly, exactly. And
But it was a back and forth game, probably
it
the
was the
best back and forth game this
103rd
weekend.
minute. The 103rd. So it was extra 30 minutes of
Yep, of
added time.
VAR, because the pen was in the
Mm,
96th minute, but to your
yeah,
point, this is with VAR nowadays.
it took
They
an
didn't
extra
actually
5.
take the penalty until like the 100 and something minute, which
Yeah,
is again crazy how VAR is extending these games.
yeah,
But yeah, sucks for Torino, sucks for their manager.
yeah.
Definitely high on the list of first manager to get sacked this season.
I think
They can't seem to catch a break.
he's the leading candidate now. He's got to be the leading candidate because
Mm,
because I mean him and Sarri have got to be, yeah, and well, Fiorentina, Fiore,
Yeah, I was gonna say we haven't talked
yeah.
about Fiorentina's matchup against Roma this
Oh
weekend.
my God, dude.
That's another manager. I would say top two. Let's say top two. Torino and Fiorentina are the two teams with managers that are leading the table as far as potentially first ones to get sacked this season.
Yeah, that's true. And I would add Sarri to that list very closely, like following pretty close by because he almost lost that game. If it wasn't because Torino basically just threw that shit away, like Sarri was losing. You know that.
But I feel at least Sarri has the players that are gonna help him to probably keep his job. Versus I don't know Torino. It's just
But he
even
should
when
have
it's
beat that
clicking,
bad on
they don't get
paper.
they're not able to get away get the victory. So,
Yeah.
but it was a good matchup, 3-3. Right, there weren't a ton of goals in many other games this weekend. So it was a back and forth battle with kind of what seems like two middle table teams probably at the end of the season.
Is Torino gonna make it to the middle of the thing?
I don't know. That's that's why I was a little bit hesitant because
Yeah.
Torino may be maybe a little bit further down the table.
Wow. This is, I mean, Fiorentina and Torino have been the story for all the wrong reasons up until
Yeah,
now, honestly.
and
Oh,
Lazio, right? We can include Lazio on
I
that
know.
list. Versus, I feel Atalanta just got off the list, right?
Yeah.
Lazio have gotten some points and a few results, but still
Yeah.
definitely on that list.
But honestly, we can't be fatalists, right? Because it's only the sixth match day. And if you look at Lazio, for example, Lazio are only 3 points away from sixth place, right? So Atalanta lose, Lazio wins, and Atalanta and Lazio are tied on points. And Atalanta is an undefeated team. So that's how even the Serie A has been to start off. It's been very interesting to see.
Yeah. Now you want to move to the next match, Inter versus Cremonese.
Well, you skipped
Uh,
Parma Lecce, though, right? I thought that how you have it. We could flip them over. I don't care.
Parma Lecce, we skipped it, right?
Yeah,
Not a whole lot happened on that match, but to your point, Sotil cross sneaks past the goalkeeper into the second post. Other than that,
did he
I
mean
really
that?
can't recall. Definitely not. It was definitely just a bad cross at that. It wasn't even a good cross, but how it is sometimes, the goalkeeper misjudged it, and it ends up going into the second post. That's football for you, but not the best game. Parma again continue to struggle, but Parma, I think we all had a little bit better, higher expectations for Torino. Parma, we didn't really know what to expect going into the season,
Mhm.
but they've really been struggling. Lecce are able to get a 1-0 victory and get 3 points on the board, which I'm sure they're really happy about.
100%. All right, now we can talk about Inter Cremonese, which I'm sure you want to talk about. That was
Inter
the
Cremonese. That was Boni's coming
that
out party, pretty much. First start for Inter since he made the transfer.
big game.
First assist to Lautaro, which was a great pass into Boni.
Hmm.
Boni gets it to Lautaro for an easy tapping goal.
Yeah,
Then we had the Di Marco assist to Boni, good header goal from Boni, good cross from Di Marco.
yeah.
Then Boni returns the favor to Di Marco,
That
had
was
a
a
great
nice shot
shot
by
from
Di
outside
Marco.
the box.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
pretty
shot.
nice shot from outside the box. And then happy to see Barella get on the score sheet with another assist from Boni. So 3 assists, 1 goal in his first start. for Inter, not bad,
Yeah.
especially considering that Turam will be out at least a month. Right? Thankfully, we have the international break,
Yeah.
which will eat some of that, but still good to know that we have not only Boni but Esposito coming off the bench that have already by match day 6 had more production than Taremi and Arnautovic last season. Believe it or not, in
Wow.
match day 6, and they've already had been more productive as far as goals and assists for Inter this season.
Yeah.
And then we had the consolation goal from Bonazzoli, right? Inter, right? Rightfully so, winning 4-0, made a ton of changes. Kiwu had done 6 rotations as far as the starters going into the game, and he made a couple of more changes during the game. They got they went to sleep at the end of the game, and Bonazzoli was able to get a consolation goal. But it was a pretty one-sided game. Obviously, good for
Yeah.
Inter, and not so good for Cremonese, who
I
had been playing great football.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't call the Bonazzoni goal the consolation goal. I would call it because I know there's no consolation in losing by like when somebody scored 4 goals on you. But I would call it the we're still gonna keep fighting goal. And it's a good thing to see a team that's down 4-0 because they got up a couple of times in the final 10 minutes, right? They were still at least trying to show face, which is always good to see. The worst thing you want to see is a team quit and be like, ah,
Yeah,
whatever, we're already 4-0 down now and do anything. These guys were at least trying to, somehow do something and get some respect. So, Inter
yep,
crushed them in the first 60 minutes. There was no story there. But Cremonese had been unbeaten until this match, so it wasn't like you know, they were gonna roll over, but definitely you saw the difference in quality, and quantity
yeah,
from like the Inter roster, because they have way better players. And Boni, honestly, it's really nice to see a player like that in Serie A because he's young, talented, physically gifted, and he's a very complete player. Like he can do a little bit of everything. That's what you saw in that game. He's really good at running the spaces, but also at passing the ball first time when he has to, holding it a little bit and looking before instead of shooting like anybody would have done, like in that play where he passed it to Varela. It was like he could have taken that
perfect.
shot and 99% of forwards would have taken that shot and then 20 and maybe 25% of them would have made it, but the other 75 would have shot the ball to like the fifth row.
Yep.
Boni literally lifted up his head. He had a shot too, but he was like, nah, look at Varela cutting.
Yeah, he
And
put
he
it on a
just like,
silver platter for Barella to tap in.
yeah,
Yeah.
and how he did it, like, it wasn't like even the inside of the foot pat. It was like as if he
Which
was gonna
is the
shoot.
stuff you like to see. Same with the
Beautiful.
assist to Di Marco,
That was
right?
beautiful.
Like
Yeah.
perfect touch, right? The
Perfect
right amount
touch.
of pace.
Yeah.
It was just set up perfectly for Di Marco just
Yeah.
to
The ball
to
wasn't
destroy
bouncing
it.
when the Michael hit it. The
Yeah.
ball wasn't bouncing. It was literally like he put it there, like he was gliding. It was that's
Barella
nice to
also
watch.
had a great game in the playmaker position, which he hadn't done as well when he tried to fill in for Shalanoglu in previous matches. This match, he actually did an amazing job in that position, which is good to see because
Yeah,
we need a little bit more of that in the midfield in the Italian national team as well. But yeah, super unselfish from Boni, right? Great. Not only that he scored a goal, but 3 assists. I mean, that's amazing. The team has been getting better. Again, Akanji's bringing some solidity to the defensive line, which is good. Kibu was able to rotate some players, which is also good for the Italian national team. We got important games coming up. So 4-1 victory. Still pretty one-sided game. I like the fact though for Cremonese, to your point, that they didn't give up. I love the fact that they brought Vardy off the bench, which the last 10 minutes, right? Like you said, they were still going after it. It's easy when you're down 4-0 away from home just to throw in the towel. But they kept on fighting, got at least a goal, and I still think they should be hopeful moving forward, especially when Vardy gets in shape. I think he kind of gives them another dimension, and definitely he's going to be a danger man up front for Cremonese moving forward.
100%. Yep. I mean, he's on the older side, but he can still, count on his skills, and I think he can contribute definitely. So next matchup, Atalanta Como. That was a fun match for the first
Yep.
like 40 minutes, and then they basically kind of locked it down. But very, very interesting match between Atalanta and Como because both they seem to be very open in the beginning, like attacking. It was like end to end, end to end. And then second half, I think it kind of slowed down a little bit. Like
Yeah.
from a statistical perspective, it was super even, 50% to 49% possession, four shots on goal each. You know what I mean? Atalanta had way more corners, like 8-3. But that was kind of the only stat. Oh well, apart from crosses. So I guess Atalanta did a little bit more in terms of trying to create the goal, I mean, that was expected, right? Como is a smaller team than Atalanta. But Como held it down. I thought they had they were organized, and it was a very like the second match was like a very tense tactical match versus the second half versus like the first half was like very open and kind of more testy, which I like the first half a lot more, but I think it was a good game.
Credit to Cesc Fabregas, to your point, right? They're a solid team. They were down some players, right? Rodriguez got sent off the previous game, who
Yep,
had been playing very well for Como.
true.
I thought there would be more goals, right? Even the goals kind of aligned with everything that you just said, right? The first goal, Samardzic's goal, came from kind of a broken play in the box. Ederson gets a quick tap into
Yep.
Samardzic, and Samardzic scores the goal. Second goal was a complete fluke. Perone goes to cross the ball. It hits
And
off the post,
yeah,
and it crossed the line before
yeah,
Carnesecchi could get it out.
yeah,
Kind of a flukish kind of goal to give up, but it kind of summed up how the game was. I think, right? You said it. Entertaining first half, but then both teams kind of locked it down, and it was just a very contested game with not that many opportunities created or shots on goal, which wasn't what I was expecting for sure.
yeah. I mean, if it had carried on in the second half like it did in the first, I think it would have been a lot more fun to watch. But still, like the whole way
But
through.
these are going to be two teams that are going to be battling for those last couple of European spots, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll see about Como, right? Because they're not that deep. Um, I'm not saying Atalanta's super deep, but Atalanta's doing it right now with a couple of injured players already. And they're key players. So I think Atalanta will get better, and I think Como is gonna probably taper off. And in my mind, right, like I would have them, ending around mid-table, maybe like ninth or
And
something like that.
Atalanta finally tried out the Sulemana and Lukman combo, which they looked good playing together in the first half. But again, it was just a completely different game in that second half.
Yeah,
So 0-0 draw, right?
1-1
So
drop. Yeah,
the 1-1 draw. Sorry, yeah. So it doesn't really benefit either team. But we expected kind of a very even matchup, and
yeah,
that's what we saw in the result.
exactly. They literally both stayed in the same place in the standings, like sixth and eighth. Atalanta Como, but honestly, eighth after six matches for Como is overachievement.
I don't think so. I think I even told you. I think I gave them the last European spot. I think they're going to be right there where they're at. Both teams like sixth, eighth spot. They may even move a little bit up. I just think right now Milan, Inter, Napoli, and Juve, even though Juve has drawn the past five matches that they played, but still, I would say that they're kind of just a little bit. There's a gap between those four and the rest of the. of the teams.
Yeah.
But I
I
could,
mean,
hey, it's match day 6, right? So
right.
anything can happen.
Yeah. One crazy stat about match day 6 is the insane offense of Inter. They have played 6 matches and they have scored 17 goals. That's almost 3 goals per match. That is crazy. The
I told you
problem
that
they
for me, the
have,
concern is always the defense.
yeah, they've let in 8, versus if you compare to Roma and Milan, Roma is letting 2, Milan is letting 3.
Okay, but
You know,
four of them were you is.
that, well, it is true. It is true. 4 of them
Right,
were,
so
were
it's
one goal.
essentially still 4 goals in 5 matches, right? For a team like Inter, who's always had a solid defense, it's concerning, but I'm at least I'm happy that Akanji has worked out. The team has already made the decision that they're gonna just sign him long term in the next transfer market,
It's a good idea.
which I completely agree from
Yep.
just the little I've seen of him thus far. But Carlos Augusto has played well in the CB position, well enough for to get called up to the Brazilian team as a CB, which is kind of crazy, knowing the CBs that Brazil has. One of them being Bremen. But
Yeah, but
good
Bremer can't
rotation, so I'm
play
happy
right
from
now.
in that sense.
Yeah.
They're rotating players. I hope that they can. I know what the back three is going to be. At the end of the day, it's going to be Akanji, Acerbi, and Batoni. But it's good that they can have some players rotate in. Bisek also played well. He hasn't played a lot, but played well when he
That's
played.
true.
So
Yeah.
we got options, but I told you that's still my concern more than anything, the age of our defense, especially at Sherby, who throws off that number quite a bit.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, what was the next game on the agenda? Udinese
We have,
Cagliari.
yep, which was another 1-1
1-1 draw.
draw.
A lot of draws.
Yeah,
A lot of
keep it
draws.
staying with the theme.
Yep.
Morelli scored an easy goal from a
Borelli.
broken play in the box. Then Capusele does a back flick from a teammate's header for the equalizer. Uh, not a whole lot happened in that game. I think we've seen the same. We saw the same from Udinese. They are extremely physical. It looks like they have the talent, but just can't get it together. Davis had a shot at the end that I have no idea how he missed that. If it was my player, I would have immediately benched him because it was just ridiculous. But they can't seem to figure things out offensively. I think they have a solid defense, but offensively they just can't get it together. It's like Roma, but Roma are getting the results.
Except in Europe, but they're still getting the results. So Udinese had like 60% of the ball in this match. They couldn't really put it away. They didn't have a lot of shots, like 4-2, the shots on goal. So it wasn't like a big advantage. 7 corners to 2. So Udinese had more opportunities to put in crosses. They put in 18 crosses. They didn't really do a lot with them crosses either. So, I don't know. I think Udinese should have gotten this win. They were at home. Cagliari is a team that they're expected to beat. And if Udinese want to
Mhm.
save themselves and not end up at the bottom of this league, they need to. I mean, they got 8 points and they did pull out like a surprise win against Inter. But that they haven't been consistent at all, right? Like I don't know, 8 points out of 8 matches. There's out of 6 matches. 6 matches, that means they've dropped 10. So I don't know. Like you said, they
They
got to
just
get
got to
it
figure
together.
out their offense because they're
Yeah.
not conceding. How many goals have they conceded total? I don't think they've conceded a ton of goals this season, right? They just
Yeah, they
haven't
have.
gotten results because they can't
Nine
score.
nine goals.
How,
They've conceded nine
oh,
goals
compared to
and
Inter, right? Inter have
eight.
conceded
Eight.
8, right? So they're not that bad. It's just that they
Yeah.
can't score to save their lives.
Yeah. But the other top teams are ranging around 5 and 6 conceded goals with like outlier Milan and Roma, which are like 3-2. But everybody else
Well,
is more or less like that. I think
I did
Inter
not
can.
expect that, bro. Two
Neither did
goals
I.
conceded by Roma. That's
That's
crazy.
crazy. That's really good defending.
The
Um,
Gasperini effect.
Holy crap. I wasn't expecting Gasperini to bring the defensive effect. I thought they
Same.
were gonna be like
Yep.
really good in attack. This is the opposite of what I expected, but okay. Do Gasperini doing it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Gasperini, well, not yet, not yet. Let's talk about Bologna Pisa, where
Ah,
Bologna
Bologna. Bologna are playing great,
basically,
man.
yeah, they leaned on the tower, I guess. This time, Bologna destroyed Pisa.
Yeah.
4 goals.
Yeah.
Cambiaghi, Moro,
Great
Orsolini, and
goal. I don't know if you saw that
Odegaard.
first goal. Great goal from Cambiaghi, which is awesome. And congrats to him. First call up to the
Oh,
Italian
yeah.
international senior team.
Yeah.
And well deserved. He creates the penalty for the second goal as well. Moro scored the second. And then he assists, has a great assist for Orsolini for the third goal as well. Cambiaghi,
Yep.
again, glad to see him get the call up for the national team. I wish he played on the other side, but we got
Yeah.
Orsolini, who has been playing well as well. Red card for Pisa, then right. So I this one I expected the second half for Bologna to just destroy them. I was
Yep.
surprised, right, that it only ended up 4-0. Odegaard had the other goal, shot outside the box, deflected off a defender, fooled the goalkeeper, and went in. But
Yeah.
Bologna dominant this match.
Yeah. I mean, a red card in the 36th is pretty hard to deal with, especially if it's one of your defensive players that gets kicked out.
And in
So
Italy, you know what that means. It's we're gonna lock it down.
park the bus, basically. Yep. Correct. So
Mourinho style.
yeah, there's nothing we can do there. So it didn't go well for
But
Pisa in this
great,
match
great
for
for
sure.
Bologna, man. Like Bologna is a team that I'm glad that they seem to be figuring it out. That's another team, right? That may be in play, or more than likely will be kind of playing for those spots with
Yeah,
Atalanta,
they're
right?
right there.
Hopefully, Fiorentina gets it together once they fire their man.
Oh yeah, I don't think they're gonna last there too long, man. Like the next
Which
match,
is the next matchup,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Fiorentina Roma.
That's it. Moise Kean got the goal early on the 14th, but then his
Great goal
his
by Kane.
Juventus next gen teammate Mattia Sule evened up the score. So
Yeah.
Juventus graduates are playing really well. The players that Juventus buys are playing like shit. Can you somebody explain that to me, please? Why are we selling these people?
So they
Like
scored and he assisted the winning
Cristante,
goal to
yeah.
Cristante as
Oh my
well.
god,
So
dude.
so
Moise Kean
former
is good.
Juventinos involved on all three goals
Bro,
for that match.
this is how bad our like US management has been. That they basically sold Dean Huijsen, who is now starting center back for Real Madrid. Like they just sold him for like a measly like $14 million tops, 40 million euro top. They sold them,
Hey, but you
and
got Gotti. Can he score bicycle kicks, bro?
bro, Gatti can score bicycle kicks, but he can't defend. So there's a trade off there. Like he's great. He's a great attacker. Maybe we should play him at number 9. But
I think he actually had the. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I think he actually had the most shots on goal in the game
that
against
is
Milan, if I'm not
that's
mistaken.
pathetic. We'll talk about that. But let's give props to Roma. Roma was able to
And
hold.
Gasperini, yep.
Yeah, they were able to hold Fiorentina to a single goal. Fiorentina is a team that scored goals, but they're letting in a lot of goals too. That's why they're not getting a lot of points, and they only have 3 points. They still haven't not been able to get a victory in this league, which is
That's
crazy,
crazy. That's
right? For
crazy. Six
Fiorentina,
games in.
yeah,
Yep.
they've had a problem with scoring 4 goals in 6 matches. They usually last season they were like a very offensive squad. This season everything seems different. It's a new manager too, and I don't think he's doing the best job here, as far as I'm
No.
concerned. You know, Roma, on the other hand, like we said earlier, hats off to Gasperini. He's got
Only
really
two
figured it
goals
out.
conceded thus far, right?
Wow.
The best defense in Serie A right now, which,
Yeah.
right, we did not expect again from a Gasperini squad. We thought it was going to be free flowing play, a lot of opportunities created, a lot of players putting pressure on the ball to create opportunities and scoring goals. The complete opposite, just best defensive line in Serie A at the moment, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I still want to see them play against Milan, against an Inter, against even a Juve,
Yeah.
right?
But they're
Team, one of the
stepping
big
up.
teams.
They're stepping up. It was Fiorentina this time. Next time,
Yeah, but
let's see.
Fiorentina hasn't been playing well at all this
Yeah,
season,
that's
right?
true.
So
Yeah.
to your point, typically we would say Fiorentina is going to be a good test. I'm glad Moise Kean got the goal because we need him to play well for the Italian national team, and he scored a
Yeah.
great goal.
Yeah.
But it was a 1v1 goal, not a goal that was created from great play, right? Some good touches, which just sums up the way things are going for Fiorentina right now. And I would definitely put their manager right top of the list of getting sacked.
You
Six
think
matches in,
you think
no
top
victories yet.
top of the list above
I
Baroni?
think he's
Like
top of the list right now.
top of the list above Baroni, like Torino's manager. Yeah, they're right there. Like Torino's got more points.
And but I think
Oh
it's
man.
probably we probably had higher expectations from Fiorentina than Torino coming
Yeah.
into the season as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah,
So
100%. 100%. Um anyways,
then we had the champions,
yeah,
Napoli
Napoli.
versus Genoa. 2-1 victory for Napoli. Back heel goal from Ekator, which is a good young prospect. I think he's 18 years old. Got the nod from Vieira to start because he typically doesn't start. Gets the back heel goal, which was a thing of beauty. Then typical Conte side, they come back. Anguissa with a header goal from a couple of rebounds, loose ball in the box. Anguissa gets a header, and then Hoyland,
Yeah.
another Man United reject who has found himself again after leaving the club and the toxic locker room over there.
That's
Scores
true.
from a rebound to give Napoli the win. Solid. I think Napoli dominated that game.
They did.
Could have probably scored a couple of more goals. Props to Genoa for fighting, but typical Conte side, right? They find a way. They stay on you and they find a way.
They had the ball 69% of the time. So like eventually they were gonna break them. You know, it's just a matter of time when you play like that. Um, 21 crosses in for Napoli, so they were really trying hard from the wing. So, props to them. I mean, they've shown that they're a team that goes down and comes back, no problem. They stay relaxed. They trust what they are able to do. They trust in their players. They already have a system. They're defending champions. I think they play with a little bit of that swagger. They didn't they weren't able to do it against Milan because honestly, I feel like it's a matter of matchups sometimes, you know. But over the long run, I don't see Napoli dropping a bunch of points unless European football starts
I just don't think
impacting
they're
their
deep enough, right? I know they're
yeah.
missing Lukaku still, but I think Napoli can be like an Anguissa injury away from dropping some points.
That's true. He is a very key
That's my
player.
only concern about Napoli is now that they have European football as well. If they do get some injuries, there's not as deep as some of the other teams like Inter, Juve, Milan.
That's
So that's my only concern with Napoli. But obviously, they have the best manager as far as in the league setting, right? Conte
yeah.
always wins the league. They got some great talent. They're playing well. Doesn't surprise me around all those crosses. Politano is playing awesome as well.
Yeah.
I think he started the last couple of games for Italy, and rightfully so because he's a threat with his crosses on the right side. And they have options. They have Neres as well that they can bring in, right? So
Yeah. And
they
and
got
they
some good
they brought De
wingers.
Bruyne off the bench for this match. He wasn't starting in this game, but still, like that's the type of player you can bring off the bench. You can bring De Bruyne, you can bring Gilmore off the bench. You
Yeah,
know, I
that's a
mean,
good problem.
sugar
Yeah, but
problem to
they're
have.
not. But let's say if a player like Anguissa gets injured, right? I
And
mean,
he's
you
as
got
critical.
Lobotka. You got Lobotka.
Yeah, it's not the same
I
though.
think.
Right? Anguissa is a different kind of player. He's
Yeah,
he's he's special.
he's like La Rabiot for Milan,
Yeah,
right?
I think
It's just
Anguissa
one of
is a
those
special
players where
player.
he goes down. You may replace him with somebody else, but it's not gonna be a player of the same level with the
Yeah,
same skill set.
he's not gonna give you the same. He's got this quality about him where he can decide a game because he out hustles somebody or he's just in a better position and he's great at reaching those crosses with his head at critical moments of the matches where like whether it's like in the midfield winning a 50-50 or like in the box to set up a teammate. Like he's one of those players every manager likes having in the midfield because he solves a lot of problems that you may have from a tactical perspective. So props to them
Do
and
you
great
think
talent getting
Napoli
him.
are gonna go deep in the Champions League this year?
No,
No.
no. I don't think so unless Conte played with a four-man backline in this match. If he starts getting used to doing that, he might get farther in the Champions League. I think they're realizing they gotta switch that a little bit because it doesn't really translate well. But if they keep playing with those three center backs in the Champions League, they're not gonna go anywhere. I I would bet money on that. If they play with four at the back and then some variation of either a five-man midfield or a four or a 2-3-1 or whatever they want to do in front of the four, I think they're gonna do better. But I don't know. We would have to see. I really
I don't
hope.
know. I was asking more because I think Napoli's Serie A race kind of depends on whether
Whether they
they
go
go
deep
far
or
in the
not.
Champions League or not. Which, to your point, I think I agree with you that I think they're probably going to go out early stages in the Champions League, which is going to
Yeah.
help them contend. I think that kicked us in the nuts at Inter last season.
Yeah.
We over rotated. Inzaghi over rotated some players, keeping in mind the Champions League matches that he had coming up.
Yeah.
So that's why Milan is so dangerous this year. Because my good segue to for the next game and final
Exactly.
game of the
Yeah.
weekend, Milan Juventus. Milan don't have European football this season and can strictly concentrate on the league.
That's true. And it was a game that when we discussed it last week, I said that I thought Juve was gonna pull it off. Um, when I said that, I didn't know that Bremer and Turan were not playing. I thought they were gonna be able to make it for this match,
I
but
saw Locatelli starting
unfortunately,
and started laughing.
Locatelli started, so we weren't gonna do great. I That said, he didn't have a terrible game, but he's just not gonna give you anything special. And then when you're going up against a midfield that had Modric, and you need something special out of your midfield, and he just wasn't there. Turam came into the match on in the second half at some point, but I don't think it was early enough to make an impact. And then by then also it was like McKennie was tired. Um, I don't know, man. Like I feel like US should have done a lot better with the players that they put out there. Like in the attack, because honestly, I wasn't intimidated by Bartesali, by Jimenez, like that. When I saw Milan's lineup, I'm like Tomori, Gabbia, and Pavlovic should not be able to stop like Conceição, Yildiz, and Jonathan David. But Jonathan David gets a chance completely by himself in front of the box and he freaking sleeps. That's the type of thing where you're just not on your game because like you're just not even feeling the terrain properly. Like uh Openda came in the second half and Vlahovic as well, and they didn't really have any kind of impact. I wonder why he didn't bring in Zegrova, who actually came in to the previous match that, when he got subbed in and he completely changed the game. So why not bring him in when Conceição came out? Instead, he brings in Open Dan Vlahovic. I didn't understand some of the changes that
he played
Turan
awesome
made.
when he came in that last game.
Yeah, Zegrova
I,
basically
I would
was,
be consistently telling him, hey, buddy, can you please pull your shirts up?
yeah,
Uh,
he's wearing the 90s basketball shorts, but he does the killer crossover like Allen Iverson when he grabs that ball. Like,
he is really good on the ball. That,
he's
that
a
that's why
tricky
I don't know.
player.
Sometimes I don't get how Tudor kind of rotates players in the squad.
Yeah,
He's lucked
yeah,
out, right? Because he's made some subs and people have come in like Cabal the other game,
yeah,
right? But I think it's more luck, like having luck. Same with Atsic when he scored that goal against Inter,
yeah.
right? just made some pretty big mistakes last match. But it's just weird that you have a player that did amazing in Segrova. Dude, give him time. Put him on the
Yeah.
pitch. Like, what the hell are you
I
doing?
mean, unless there's some other reason, like he's hurt or something hurt. So he just came back from like a really long injury, which is a fact. But still, like we want to know these things because otherwise we're questioning like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Like seriously, uh, Bremer did.
Cambiaso played well. I think Cambiaso had a couple of touches where it's like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, he's got when he brings it, he's a decent player. But I don't know, man. Like Juventus keep playing with this three-man back line. And again, listen, if you want to win games, typically one of the rules as a manager is
you want
you
to beat
play.
Inter, dude, and you can't.
Bro, we already beat Inter. Like we played them with this shitty system and we beat them. Because you play the shitty system too. But what I'm saying is if you want to play your best 11 players, and you look at the best 11 players at Juve, that list usually does not include Gatti, Rugani, and Kelly. Right? Like honestly, if you played a 4-4, not a
Oh, Kelly has
4-4-2,
been
but
playing well. I
yes,
would include Kelly.
Kelly would play now because
Same
of
with
the
Gatti. I think
injury.
Gatti has been playing well as well.
I don't think that he's been playing well. But
Dude,
anyway,
he's your best attacking option right now, Tito. What are you talking about, bro?
that just says how poorly the attackers have been playing, which is different. Right now, honestly, our best attacking option is Yildiz. He's the one that's actually produced the most and assisted the most, etc. But I don't think Gatti, Rugani, and Kelly would ever play. Kalulu would play with Bremer as center backs. That would be the two players. Oh, these three guys would be sitting on the bench, and then you would have somebody who could play on the right side. And that's the problem. I don't know who. We don't really have right, a good right back. But if in the absence of, you could have Cambiaso on the right and Cabal on the left when he's healthy, right? So you do
I would have
Cabal.
Cambiaso on the left and Kalulu on the right.
No, but then you gotta play a different center back, like Bremer and Kelly or Bremer and Gatti. Maybe you
I
could do
think
Bremer
Bremer
and
and
Gatti,
Kelly.
but Kalulu is not a great fullback. So Kalulu plays better in the middle. So if we play
No, but
with
he's not
Bremer,
going to be that much of a threat offensively like Cambiaso on the other side. But he's made some good passes. He's had some good
but
assists,
we
right?
have
He had
Cabal.
assists for Vlaovic
We have
earlier in the
Cabal.
season.
Cabal can play on the left. So if Cabal's healthy, you can play Cabal on the left, Cambias on the right, because he can play either side, right?
Yeah,
And
but
then
I
you
think
play with those
Cambiaso's better
four.
on the left.
And then you can put in three midfielders. If you want to play Locatelli, you play him in front of the defense, and then you put McKenny and Turam in front of Locatelli, just like Marquisio and Vidal used to do for Juve back in the day. And there you have something that you can build on to go forward. And then you can put, Yildiz on the left and Conceição on the right, and then whatever striker you want, because it doesn't matter. That Jonathan David would probably do a good job of just holding the ball and bringing people in. But that would be a formation that would make sense if you're trying to bet you play your best 11 players. But we are forcing this three defender formation on this squad, and it's not built for it. And we're gonna continue having draws if we do that. That's my prediction. Unless we change to a four-man backline, this disaster that we are seeing is going to continue. You heard it here
Oh, you need to
first.
get your shit together. No, I'm still doing good in the rankings. I was surprised that I already saw a couple of articles of kind of putting Tudor's tenureship into question. I think it's a bit early for that, but
Yeah.
again, I think some of his substitutions and player rotations have been a little bit sus.
Yep. I agree. I just think it's because of the system. He's trying to make these players fit into this system, and some of them benefit from it, like Yildiz and Conceição, but the ones that play from the midfield down are not benefiting from this system at all. And then the top three can't get their game together if the midfield can't get the ball to them. So that's been a big problem. We're just getting outplayed in the midfield by every team we play because we have four people there where we should have probably like three, three and two on the wings instead of having just like two that gotta cover all that space. It just it's not gonna work. We're not Our midfielders are not like Barella, you know what I mean, and like Chalanoglu. We don't have that. It's regular people. You know what I mean? It's so we need to do something tactically to remediate that situation because even Inter puts three midfielders, three central mids in front of their three defenders. They're not playing with just two there. It's they're a more solid formation in that regard. They almost have like two, three-man back lines, like one in front of the other. Like so, I don't know. Tactically, they gotta get their shit together. Juve have better players than what they are showing, and I don't think they're showing it because we're playing so defensively, which is ridiculous.
Mm. And then we got a international break. Important matches
Oh
for the
yeah,
Italian team. We play against Estonia October 11th. Estone! I think,
Stone.
I mean, nothing is given, but that should be a win for Italy.
I
But
hope.
given how the last two World Cup qualifyings have gone, I would have put it past them if that's the game that they fumble.
I
But I
hope
think
not.
the most important matchup is the one on the 14th against Israel. Obviously, that last matchup, last time they played, it was a war, right, back and forth. I think Italy had probably had to make a statue of Tonali after that match. He's been playing
Yeah,
awesome, and we need him in the midfield. But I think it's going to come down to that one. And even if we get the wins, and then who's the other matchup that we have other than Norway, Moldova? Even if we get those three victories, we're still most we can do is even if Norway drop a game, it's going to come down to a goal difference, and Italy would have to beat Norway like 10-0.
yeah. It's not even close.
And it's not even going to be that because I can guarantee that Holland is going to score like 5 goals just in one of the matches that they have left. So I think
Yeah,
even if we win all the games and maybe lose to Norway and still end up second, I think we're still going to go to the playoffs even if we win every single match that we have left. Honestly, so.
we have to win every single match we have left to go to playoffs. That's the thing. Like we can't sleep on our
But
laurels and
especially that one against Israel, right? Because if we lose that one, Israel would be the
we're
one
out.
that would step in and grab that spot from Italy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Again, right? Because we not putting anything past Estonia or Moldova, but those should be two wins. For me, again, it comes to that Israel matchup because if we beat Israel, right? Even if we lose against Norway, I think we still
Get the
would end up
playoffs. Yeah.
second and go to the playoffs. And then it's a toss up. We might get a solid team, but we got North Macedonia in previous years and lost, so
We might get Portugal,
not looking good.
which would not be great.
No, it's not looking good. I think they've been playing better since Gattuso took over, but I think he's still figuring it out. Called up some players that we talked about Cambiaghi earlier, right? Some players that haven't even played in the senior national team. Obviously, good to see them get the nod because they've been playing well and they
Yeah.
deserve it.
Yeah. And they have to do
Uh,
that.
I hope Ken, and freaking Retegi show up guns blazing because we're gonna need them.
Yeah.
Because again, that's our Achilles heel, which has been for the past I don't know how many years. We don't have any. Italy's not producing world class strikers.
That's true. That's true. It's sad.
What
It's
are
sad.
what are your thoughts? How do you think those two games are gonna play out?
I mean, I expect them to be like hard fought matches, but at the same time, I expect Italia to win them both. I don't think they're gonna lose any of those games. Um, I think they're gonna
I don't know.
show up
That one
for both
against
of them.
Israel. That last one was a battle.
I know, but like, if you to be honest, we dominated that match. Like, it was only a battle because we made some stupid mistakes in the back that we probably will not be making those very often. It's it's a new manager, and so it's gonna take a little bit to get the defense organized. But I think after a little bit, you're gonna get them playing with the right mentality, which is I think what has been lacking from these teams, because we always have technical players. If you think about it now, there's no way Estonia, Moldova have better players than Italy, right? Like maybe you could say Norway
But the
has
Israel
better
match, right? It
attackers,
was
but
5-4, set 17 shots for Italy, 11 for Israel, but 7 shots on target for both.
yeah, we just played
Possession was
terrible. Like
was
just
only 54% for Italy, so it
defensively.
was a very contested game, right?
It was contested, but if you actually watch the match, like you could cite the numbers, right? But if you actually watch the match, it felt like Italy had, at least to me, right?
Well, they were good when they were 4-2, but then right, they made some mistakes in the back and conceded two stupid goals,
Yeah,
and then they went down to the wire, and Tonali put his Superman cape on and saved Italy, and he was probably the man of
yeah.
the match.
But I can't believe we talked about the Juve Milan game without talking about Pulisic's penalty to the fifth row. He was like channeling
Ah, that was terrible.
his inner
That
Messi.
was terrible.
You know why I remembered, because you said saved, and I remember that Pulisic basically saved Juve from their first defeat by kicking that penalty up into the sky.
Could have easily been 3 points for Milan. Yeah, not even close. I don't know if it was right. He just didn't have a firm last step.
Yeah, he just hit it wrong.
Maybe if he slipped, or but that was
Yeah,
terrible, right? Just to miss it by that much, especially for somebody that has been on fire like he has.
yeah.
I wasn't expecting it. Probably nobody was expecting it on either the Milan or Juve side. So yep, definitely saved Juve with that one because that couldn't is. But then again, Juve created a ton of other opportunities, had chances to score as well, maybe
True.
even more so than Milan.
Yeah, they did.
But yeah, that was a clear chance.
Shouts to Chris Pulisic for saving us. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you for your service.
I'll
Okay.
root for you in the World Cup if Italy don't make it.
I mean, we would
I just
have to,
don't like the
right?
Captain America nickname for him. It's been
Yeah,
used.
yeah,
Jesus, find something else.
yeah. Hey, let's talk about some cool games happening on match day 7 when we come back. One of them is actually Inter Roma in the next match day. It's gonna be a fun match to watch.
Yeah, I think we touched on those on our last episode. Gonna be the first, I think, good test for Roma.
Right.
Right, you said it before. They didn't do so well in European play. They missed three opportunities to score a pen. Right, so at least they got the win in Serie A last
Yeah.
match day. Contested matchup. I think same as I said with Juve. I think this is where Inter are gonna find some holes in Roma's defense,
They're playing away
and
though. They're playing at Roma, so that's a
yeah,
factor
but
too.
those matches, right? It's just a different type of feeling for these types of matches. I think Inter are gonna definitely score and find some gaps in that Roma defense. The question is Roma gonna be able to score on the other side as well? I think that's what it's gonna come down to. But right now, looking at both teams, how they've been playing, I would give the edge to Inter for sure.
I don't know if I would say that. Just based on how Inter have defended. But the other match that's pretty interesting that day is Napoli Torino. We could figure out whether Baroni gets the sack, because I
I
don't think he's
mean,
gonna
that's
win this one
probably the
either.
only thing that's going to be interesting about that match because I think that should be again should be because it's football, but
Yeah,
should be an easy win for Napoli the way Torino have been playing.
dang, very rough. Then you have,
Let's see. I think Como Juve is going to be a more interesting matchup.
yeah, you were playing away. I think they sometimes they play better when they're away, because like they don't feel that same pressure of everybody like expecting them to do everything perfect at the stadium. That's what happens when ticket prices go up. You know, you start getting these people who don't really play, like all these people who can pay the $150 seats. Like a lot of them and their kids are not the kind of people that play soccer in the park. So like they don't understand like where the players come from. and like they're expecting perfection. They don't know how hard it is to do a lot of those things, right? So I don't know. I feel like sometimes you feel more pressure when they're playing with their in front of their fans than when they play away, just because of the way the fans react. There's also Atalanta Lazio this week, that weekend on the 19th,
Yeah,
which is also going to be a match to see whether Sarri can kind of save his skin. And then Milan is going to put the pressure on Pioli uh, in that
I
Fiorentina
think
match.
that in previous years would have been one of the definitely the best matchups for match day 7, but I think they're better matchups. It's just the way Fiorentina have been playing that.
Yeah, I think definitely
Again,
the
it
top top
should be a
game,
win for Milan.
the top game that weekend is Roma Inter, 100%. Like
Roma Inter,
that's
but I
the top
think
game.
Juventus Como is going to be a good one. I think Atalanta Lazio is going to be another good matchup.
I, I don't
Right,
think
and
Juve
hopefully,
Como is
hey,
going to be
hopefully
close.
we're wrong, and hopefully Fiorentina show up to play and give Milan a run for their money.
Hopefully.
But there's some interesting matchups, right? Even the Cremonese Udinese, right? It's going to be interesting to see how Cremonese bounce back from
Yeah,
their first defeat this
true,
season.
true.
Udinese, again, if they can figure it out.
Playing
But
away.
some good matchups, some good matchups coming back from international play. Short break, right? Because I think a lot of the international teams play late in the week and then come back to play the next weekend.
Yeah, sure break.
Uh, so it's going to be interesting, especially for the bigger teams that we know have the majority of their starters and even bench players are traveling, right,
Yeah,
to go play for their national sides. But yeah, some good matchups. It's going to be interesting to see how the table continues to shift as we move along in the season. But looking for me, obviously, definitely looking forward to Inter Roma, especially the way Roma and their defense have been playing.
yeah, it's gonna be a good game. And Juve Como is gonna be interesting, probably a fun watch. And also, me,
Hopefully, and you got to figure it out.
yeah,
Sorry, man, but you guys have so many weapons up front. You talked about Inter
yeah,
scoring a ton of goals, and
they
yeah,
just
we have a
suck
ton
at
of
the back.
weapons, but you will also have a ton of weapons. I don't know what's going on.
Bro, playing with these three center backs, it's not a good defensive formation. Like we get scored on a bunch. We just gotta realize that it's stupid and we need to switch that. And once we do that, you see that the team is gonna do a lot better once we switch to back four. But if it Tudor doesn't realize that, then maybe we do need a different manager. You know what I mean? Because it's like you gotta be flexible. Like you can't just play a certain like one way. You know, you gotta be able to switch up based on the players that you have at your disposition. Ponte has done it for the last two matches in Serie A. He's played with a four-man back line because he's got players you gotta shuffle around, and sometimes he just doesn't have the players to play with that three. And maybe he wants to be more offensive. Maybe he doesn't want to respect the other team that much. Whatever the reasons are, I mean, I feel like any manager who gets stuck with just a single tactic, especially when it's not giving the results that they're expecting, is being stupid, right? Like there's that saying, like stupidity is, trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. You just, at some point, you got to say, this doesn't work. But anyways, well, I guess we can leave it at that, and we'll see what the national
Yeah,
brings
hopefully
us.
things get better. Hopefully Tudor, he's hears Tito's freaking request and
Yeah.
changes formation.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. Until then, we appreciate it. My name is Marco Romano, along with Tito Yang.
Yep.
Appreciate you joining us for Match Day 6 recap of the Serie A here at the Serie Addicts and We Kick Balls channel.
Yeah.
Forza Italia. Hope our team does well during the international break, and then Forza Inter when we come back against Roma. We'll see you guys on the next one. Please comment, subscribe. Let us know what you guys think, what you're looking forward to. If there's anything you want us to talk about, we appreciate you. Peace and love. Take it easy, everybody.
Peace.